Hey, what's going on, y'all? So today we're going to be running over how I currently make over $30,000 a month selling one AI solution, one AI system to businesses. Now, in my opinion, it's very important to keep things straightforward when it comes to scaling an agency. So everything comes down to having a very straightforward product. So when I say one AI system, it allows me to continue to redeploy it onto other clients. Of course, there's a bit of customization in there, but it's a very straightforward system, and the impact that's having for clients, it's assisting them in making more sales, so we're able to charge high ticket for it. Now, just to kind of show a bit of proof behind what we got going on, first off, if you check out our website, you can see some of these case studies we've done where we've literally scaled these business owners up. I'm not going to talk on this too much. You can go watch those videos. I'll leave a link down below to my website. Another thing I want to show is a few students that have actually used my exact automations, turned around, built their own businesses out of them. So this is just kind of to validate the fact that the product that I'm selling works. As you can see, one of my students, Kobe, he turned around with my AI automation solutions and he made 50K within 2 months of launching his business, which is absolutely crazy. And then Yoel, similar story. Him and his business partner took a stack of my automations, turned around, started selling them for high ticket. As you can see, at one point, he was doing a $33 cost per booked call of business owners booking in to actually get the solution from him. And here's a few other ones. I'm not going to read through this, but I just kind of want to show a bit of results behind the AI product we're selling. It's AI sales agents, although like really when you strip it away, it's AI appointment setters. But from a sales standpoint, saying AI sales agents comes off a lot more attractive. And then here's a few ad accounts. Again, just going to quickly run through here. But the idea is the AI is booking in all these sales calls, so we're actively running ads on it. And so this really complements any business owner that's actively running ads. We obviously will plug it into your organic streams, but I love running up offers where our AI system is managing the back end of ad traffic just because it allows us to be very, very numbers oriented as far as the money that we're putting in, the leads that we're generating, the people that we're converting onto booked calls. And on a high ticket offer, I see $100 cost per booked calls. And if the offer is good enough, if the close rate's good enough, this isn't a problem, honestly, right? It's very different from ecom, but the reason I love running ads for high ticket offers is because you can have a lot more leeway in the wiggle room in your ability to still make money off of it just because the ticket price is so good. Moving forward, if we even do a Facebook lead form objective, as you can see in this campaign, we were getting $35 cost per leads, which is honestly pretty expensive. But, in the grand scheme of things, on this offer specifically, it's like an $8,000 offer. So we're now having a conversation with 189 people. The ROAS is crazy. All it takes is to close one for us to make our money back. But of course, we closed several clients. I think we closed a little over a dozen clients just off of the first sales call. Then, of course, we have some in long-term nurture. Anyways, so here's some more cost per booked calls. And the idea is the AI backend is the backbone to all of this. So I'll show you a look into one of my CRMs. So the idea is when a lead inquires from ads, they'll be updated here. I personally usually like to do a wait stage before the AI reaches out just to see if they book in straight to the funnel. If they don't, the AI will reach out and it will essentially have multiple phases of follow-ups on any messaging channel we have available to us. So low-hanging fruit is going to be SMS and email, but if we're talking to this lead or we got this lead from social media, we can also automate Instagram DMs or Facebook DMs. I don't really recommend this for US, but pretty much every country but the US, we can also automate WhatsApp. For some reason in the US, people aren't on WhatsApp as much, but in Europe, for instance, it's lucrative there, so we can build some badass WhatsApp funnels, but usually domestically for US clients, we're fine with just SMS stream. Anyways, if the lead does reply to us, they'll be updated to talking with AI. If they make it far enough in the conversation flow to where the call gets proposed, they'll be updated to call proposed. Then, of course, we have appointment booked. And even down to these pipelines, these are custom built. But really what I'm showing you guys is the product behind what I'm selling. And really what I'm getting at is we are solving a gap in the market, that gap being sales fulfillment. The lead gets generated and we're procuring that lead and booking them onto a sales call. So my most successful clients, they have a sales team on deck and we're literally just pitching them appointments all day. So that kind of segues into this point, high ticket AI systems versus low ticket. So I am a massive, massive believer in high ticket AI systems, especially if you're a smaller fish. Now, the SaaS model, the low ticket AI system model is meant if you have more crowdfunding, if you have a lot of buying power up front to where you're willing to put your name out there and willing to pump ad spend into the business and not expect an immediate return. I say that because, with the SaaS model, with the low ticket AI systems, you're charging low ticket for every build, and the idea is very volume based. So, honestly, it takes a lot more finesse, a lot more strategy behind how to actually go about making a profitable business if you do go the low ticket route. However, if you're selling high ticket solutions, it's a lot more ad friendly as far as you being able to yield a good return on ad spend. And the great part about ads is once you've landed one client, you can turn around and reinvest that money you made into buying more attention online on Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, whatever your traffic source may be, buying more attention and then reconverting that attention. It becomes a flywheel. It's a numbers game. And I have a technical background. I definitely see things in black and white. Like I've got a funnel builder on my team that handles the artistic shit because that's not me. I see things in numbers and black and white. So I've really enjoyed running ads because it's very straightforward when you strip away a lot of the noise, I suppose. But anyways, with high ticket systems, I highly recommend you build out systems that are directly related to sales and marketing because it's so easy to validate you asking $5,000, you asking $10,000, when the turnaround of the impact it's going to have is for the business owner to have the ability to book more sales calls without them having to be in the picture. And this is like a money shot for most business owners. Like, oh shit, this thing automatically books a lot of my sales calls. The biggest thing that we also aim to offload is hey, if you have a shitty appointment setter, this AI system will nurture your leads. It doesn't skip a beat. It's cheaper than an appointment setter. It never asks for raises. It works 24/7. It accurately handles everyone. Speed to lead is instantaneous. Like there's so many reasons why an AI setter is better than a human setter at scale. And then of course the done for you side of things. We're literally deploying this for the client, so it's hands free. Oftentimes, like in industries where you are able to charge high ticket, and we'll run through industries here in a second, business owners are paying not because they can't figure it out, but because they don't have the fucking time to, right? So anyone that's like an unqualified business owner is, someone that's maybe under 10K a month, and they're looking for solutions on how to get it done, but they usually will get scared off by high ticket prices. Usually when it comes to ad targeting, you want to target pre-existing business owners as one of your like base level qualification questions. With myself and with all my students that I assist in like coaching them on how to run their ads, we're always throwing in there as a qualification question or in part of the funnel or in the VSL. These are for established business owners that are making at least this much, or you have this much client volume, or you have this much of an ad budget, because this is all going to play a factor in your ability to even get in the door and ask a high ticket price in the first place. So that being said, what are some of the best markets to sell high ticket AI sales systems in? So these that I've laid out here are all industries that I have personally done builds for, so I can kind of speak from previous experience. All of these industries, the one thing they have in common is they're all high ticket. Now the difference is going to come to the necessity, and that'll ultimately determine like how easy it is to convert the lead. So blue collar, honestly, a better name could also be home services for this. The thing about these industries is procuring leads is damn easy. So, in comparison to like an online fitness coach where, fitness coaching is kind of an amenity, it's kind of a luxury. So it's usually only rich people. But the thing about a roofing company, rich or poor, if your roof is fucked up, you need to get it fixed. Rich or poor, if your pipe breaks, your house is fucking flooded, you're going to call a water damage restoration company. If your AC is not working, HVAC, if your toilet's not working. All that to say, like, the reason this industry is very lucrative for selling solutions is because low-key the reality is these leads are already high intent. So all we have to do is add an AI solution to give them a touch point. So as soon as they inquire, they're getting hit. So, the reason the speed to lead is so important in a home service industry where these leads are already ready because they need this done, it all becomes a dogfight to who can reach them the fastest, who can book them the fastest, who can do that quote the fastest. So by having an AI there be that point of contact and be that speed to lead, it allows these types of companies to beat out their competitors that are literally selling the same solution. Because let's be real, there's a roofing company behind every block. There's a water restoration company behind every block. They're very commoditized. But the reason they're still lucrative and there's money to be made in them is because the intent of these leads is so fruitful. All that to say, one or two of these fucking jobs, the company has made their money back off of the retainer you asked for, or off the price you asked for. Moving into online businesses, this may be a little more of a gray area just because it's a bit of the Wild West sometimes, but marketing agencies charge high ticket. Software founders will always need some sort of back-end systems as well, so you can offer that there. It's funny because you can literally offer a high ticket solution and sell that to a low ticket like AI software company because they still are going to need intervention with their leads at first, right? So even if they may be low ticket up front, you're charging like a one-time, build fee, maybe some MRR in there, but overall, like in the grand scheme of things, with a lot of these sales builds, it allows them to have more conversations than they could ever have on their own. And so, it's usually a no-brainer as far as like, making a sale and making your money back. Coaches and consultants, not going to touch on that too much. And ecom brands, it's kind of similar to SaaS founders. They're not as high ticket, but if you think more long term, there's still a ton of value in building out solutions for this. And then, of course, we have professional services, so medical, real estate, CPA, accounting firm. We also have financial consultants and a law firm. And these kind of also fall into home services. The only difference is they're a little bit more of a higher barrier of entry to get into. Usually with law firms, you need to know a little thing or two, or with medical clinics, you need to make sure you abide by HIPAA regulations. Nonetheless, these are probably going to be where you can make the most money. Like I've seen a few guys that exclusively have gone into the medical niche and all they do is lead gen for like dentists or doctors, people exclusively going to law firm niche. If you can break into it, it's really easy to sink your teeth into it because these are probably the least leveraged AI businesses right now. Home service is very competitive. There's a lot of kids out there, and I specifically say kids out there because it's young kids. So take it or leave it. I'm not going to sit here and say that a kid can't do the job, but the perception, unfortunately, of a lot of these blue collar guys, some of them can be small minded. So when they have a kid show up to the call, it's like, okay, eh. So presentation is everything, don't get me wrong, but ultimately what I'm getting at is the professional services niche is the least tapped into as far as the amount of money that's able to be made in it. And similar to these home service niches, if you've got a fucking broken arm, you're going to the doctor. Or, if you're trying to sell your house, you need it sold. Or if you're looking to buy a house, you need to buy a house. It's not like an appointment setting strategy with like an online fitness coach where you're like, oh, whoa, you're looking to lose 40 pounds. Well, let's talk about that some more. Where you kind of low-key have to convince them or put in their mind that they need this when, these are more essential needs, I would say. Anyway, so to tie all this together, this is kind of from a high level, the gap in the market that this one AI system that I'm selling, that my students are selling, it's going to be closing the gap of the sales process. So from generating leads to booking appointments to closing clients, that's the gap we're solving. So with lead generation, we're involved in, plugging our AI system into their streams, into their organic streams, into their lead lists. So if they have any like pre-existing lead lists, we can do a database reactivation on it. Or if they have ads, that's going to be the most complementing. And just to show you a quick visual of that, this is literally like the same concept, generating leads, setting appointments, closing clients. So these are going to be the traffic streams to sync up to. And the idea is no matter where the lead comes from at this point, they will be hit by us. And that's going to be the best case scenario. And next, booking appointments. This is the actual AI appointment setter, AI caller, the AI touch points, the messaging. And I personally love to use like a omni-channel strategy. We're not going to reach out to leads on one stream. All the streams we have available, we're going to hit them from. They're going to be getting texts, we're getting emails, we're getting DMs, right? And the idea is to keep us at the top of their mind. It's going to vary per industry, but real estate, for instance, some leads, they may have some interest, but they may not be ready to sell for 6 more months. We need to be at the top of their mind. That realtor needs to be at the top of the lead's mind. So we can get this done by having a long-term email drip sequence, maybe a few passive texts every now and then, just to see where the lead is at with things. What we have here is, honestly, don't even look at. It's just for the sake of a visual. I'll show this to some of my clients when I'm pitching them. But I always tell them, if you can think it regarding how you need a lead conversation to go, qualification questions you need answered, ultimately anything as it relates to the conversation process of booking a lead onto a consultation or sales call, if they can think it, we can set it up. So these are custom conversational builds. So it's the one AI system, but the nuance or the customization comes into the conversation flow of it. And that's where me and my team spend a lot of work, like really fine-tuning consistent appointment setting flow. And then, of course, closing clients. All these deals that we're booking them onto the team's calendar. So I'll usually have a post-booking AI to assist with show-up rate, which is essential, especially when running ads, because show-up rate can be such a big issue with cold traffic. But the idea is that AI will verify the appointment time, will send reminders on the business's behalf, confirm the appointment, make sure that the lead is there. And if the lead doesn't show up to the call, we also do an AI-driven cancellation or reschedule sequence to try to make the most of all these leads that are coming in. That's really the idea there. So that from a high level, guys, is exactly how I'm making $30K a month selling one AI system. Now, if you are interested in getting these exact AI systems, I'm talking my exact AI appointment setter builds, full tutorials to explain exactly how it works. When I showed you earlier, like some of my students that are currently taking this and running with it, they literally are only paying me $197 a month to get this. So if you do want access to my list of automations, more importantly, live weekly calls, not only with me, but with 30 plus AI entrepreneurs that are currently killing it in the game right now. Again, if you don't have a network or you don't have an inner circle of people, it's going to be a lot harder to, get past some of those pitfalls. We do live weekly calls, so usually people come, ask me questions, I answer them, explain stuff about AI. But lately, what's really awesome is since some of these guys have really been scaling up their own businesses, they've been very productive calls where we're going through some of the pitfalls we're having, some of the struggles we're having, how we're overcoming them, how we're delivering for our clients, how we're pitching our solutions, the ads we're running, all that awesome stuff. If you want access to all that, plus the entire stack of automations, it's literally only $197 a month. I will be increasing prices once we get to 50 members, so we got about 15 slots open. So I'll leave a link to that down below. There's a video that explains exactly everything you'll get in there. But if you are interested, I highly recommend you join. I promise you won't regret it. The guys that have joined and made the most of these calls are the same guys that are currently killing it right now, making 50K in 2 months, or booking all these sales calls with businesses, turning around, selling high ticket, changing their lives. But anyways, I'm just yapping about this because I'm passionate about this shit. But I hope you found some value in this video. We'll see y'all in the next one.